Hi, so now we're going to make some cashew cheese. This is actually really simple. You do have to, it does take 2 days because you have to soak the cashews. I tend to soak them overnight. You have to soak them at least 4 hours. And then you need to let it sit for at least 10 hours with the probiotics so it kind of works its magic and becomes more like cheese-like. So this was started yesterday, and it will be finished tomorrow because I'll leave it out for about 24 hours. I've seen some instructions where you can leave it out up to 48. I've tried that, didn't work that well. Also, I've tried it with old acidophilus, did not work that well. So you want to try to use it with good or fresh probiotic capsules. The ones I have here, they have 5+ billion of their little bacteria guys. In general, probiotics, you should always look for something that's at least in the billions, just as a general rule. So, what we're going to do is, I have 2 cups of cashews here. These are roasted and salted. I generally do raw cashews, but I wanted to try something different. So, with the raw cashews, I would also be adding salt. I think these should be okay without the salt. And then the juice of 2 lemons. Oh, that's gonna smell. Okay. And I don't get all fancy with the reamer. I just take my handy dandy strainer and just and if you have nice and plump lemons, you get a nice juiciness. So we're gonna do. I mean, you could do the juice of 1 lemon and taste and see what you think. I like 2 because I like to have it tangy. If you want to be adventurous, maybe a lime. I've never done it with a lime, but that might be interesting. Maybe a cilantro lime cheese would be good. Oh, actually, I think that might be something to try. And then the gel tabs of the. Now I'm going to pop the capsules. They also sell probiotics in powder form, where it's a little canister, and you do a teaspoon. By the teaspoon, I would say if you have it that way, it's most likely a teaspoon's worth of probiotics. I like to use 7. There's no rhyme or reason. I just did it once and it worked. 6 felt like I wasn't sure if that was enough. 8 felt like too much. So 7 kind of worked. So kind of interesting. I'm not sure exactly what the science is behind it with doing this, but it gives the cheese a springiness, which is kind of nice. And you know, you don't have to do it with just cashews. You can pretty much use any nut that you want. And then kind of just the variations with the different herbs and spices. There's a lot of freedom out there, which is nice. And then I'm going to put a tablespoon of water just to get it started. And I'm going to keep adding water a little at a time.
Evelyn, do you use those herbs for any reason?
The herbs are after it's cultured and ready. I mix in herbs afterward.
Okay.
So this is the very last step. You just keep adding water as you're going, and you want the consistency of like a cream cheese. Okay, so this is kind of the the texture that you want to have. If you look, it looks very creamy.
Wow.
Very creamy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
See? So, that's it. Now we put it into here. What I'm going to do is, as neatly as possible, grab a wooden spoon and, oh, see, this looks great. Oh, I can't wait. So, depending, if you use a lot of water, you might need to strain some of the water out. I try not to use too much. This looks a little wet, but it might be okay. And that way, that's why you use the strainer bag. You don't have to. You can put it in a cheesecloth if you like. You can use a mesh strainer as well. Actually, what I do is I double, just because to keep it off of the bag, off of the bottom of the bowl, I'll use a mesh strainer and actually keep it in there. See, this one's a little wet. So I'll use a mesh strainer and do it that way. And then just try to neatly, I mean, you're going to get the cheese, and it's going to, when you're leaving it out to ferment, like these little spots are going to get brown. That's okay. It's just, you know, it's just that it's been out. So, getting this in, and then you give it a good squeeze. Yeah, see, this is a little wet, but that's okay. It's not like dripping too much. So that's pretty solid. So then I leave it like this. And then I just put a towel over it. Let's say something like this. And then just leave it like this in a corner somewhere overnight. And then what you get is like this.
Oh wow.
And so I'll add the dill to this one. So, and then I have another smaller one that I can parsley to.
So I have a question. Is the consistency after the fermentation, is it noticeably drier than when you started?
Here's the, if you can see me mashing it, it's, yeah, it's more set, I guess you can say. Yeah.
And is that what the probiotics are for? The fermentation?
Yeah, the probiotics give it that firmness. If you want something that's a little more like saucy, you would just do that. I believe that might even be the recipe for cashew cream. You might add like one or two more things.